playing games, and we are a little bit nervous on the game, and we have to play little slowly, and we are going to play like we did in PMSL CSA. We are a little bit off than that. We are not playing our own game, so we are lacking that, and nervous on the game.
Yeah, exactly. You've got 3 maps left until it kind of gets decided at the end of the group stage. So what's the plan now? Are you going to be able to fix any issues that you have right now? Are you going to get aggressive?
Yeah, we are trying to play. As I said, we are trying to play an information game, and we usually don't push like blindly. So we are trying to play much slower and more aggressive. So hopefully in 3 matches we can get top 8.
Okay, top 8 is the goal, of course. Thank you so much, No Fear, for joining me from Horror Esports, and best of luck in the rest of the final day of the group stage. Back to you guys.
Well, we're going to wait and see if they're going to be able to make it there towards the top 8, because as I mentioned, they were trying to do some rotations. I mean, Blank even ended up choosing them. As soon as he chose them, it ended up going south for them. But there you go, No Fear, only being able to get just 1 elimination, 275 damage. But let's move on from Horror Esports, because I actually want to get a chance to talk a little bit more about Weibo. Weibo, we always talk about the docketing. We saw Sook being very far away from their squad, Max.
I like what Doc is doing. How about we do a bit of that, okay? Now, it was quite interesting because this entire game, Sook was split from the rest of his team. So Sook was in a building over to the western side, not quite in the mountain. And the mountain where the circle ended up going had the 3 other players of WBG. They just stay there the entire time. Then they pull a little Uno reverse card, send Sook over to the high ground position, leave the 3 other players in the compound to the west. And we're like, okay, that's a good scouting position. They're going to hold it until maybe phase 4, 5. Okay, we're chilling. I think they took until phase 6 to start even just thinking about regrouping onto Sook. And the fact that Sook is not eliminated during that time is just mind-boggling to me. I think they were scared of possible off angles, taking away that possible win from them. So I do get that they were scared about it, but the delay took so long that I would love to know what was happening internally, because so many things must have been taken into account for this team to not be willing to regroup.
And that's what I was talking about too for this team as well, because of the delay that they just didn't want to find on some Red Force. They had the chance. Order seemed like he wanted to get an angle on them. Ultimately, it didn't end up happening, Neptura.
No, it didn't. I think it was a really interesting play to come through from them. It's one of those things that I think has everybody a little bit confused, but at the same time, it's what got them a 2nd place, almost a 1st place finish. They just wanted to keep that timing or keep to themselves a little bit more. They were not confident in that. And actually, I kind of think it goes into what we've been saying, is that if you want to make a play it with confidence and actually commit to that. And I think if they were unwilling to commit to a push, then actually staying and committing to the stay was the way to go.
I think they may have been scared from Nongshim Red Force's southern angle. Maybe you just push that, you know? Maybe you just go for Big Sen, then you can have exude as much control as you want on the circle at that point. So I do agree with your idea here that maybe just do it together. I do get also the idea that maybe scared a little bit, but you have to take control eventually, because as you keep delaying it, you will lose a player, and that's how we did end up losing Sook at the end of that match.
You gotta make that decision. You can't wait too long, but let's take a look at the overall. Let's see if maybe Nongshim Red Force is gonna be in the top 8. And they still got games to go, so that pretty much means that for Nongshim Red Force, there's a high chance that you might be able to make it there towards Grand Finals. One thing that's a little bit scary for me, looking at all of this, Max, is that Alpha 7 Esports, look at them, they just really haven't been able to get that many points.
Don't forget, man, you got Horror behind them, you got Alpha Gaming behind them. If they keep slipping, Alpha 7, I knew it was going to happen eventually. Alpha 7 will be slipping out of the top 8. We can't have that happening to the reigning champions. So Nongshim, good comeback from 22nd in 3 games, getting up to 8th place. But as you said, Alpha 7 in the hot seat. They need to do something in these next 3 matches.
And right now, for some of the other teams that are currently watching the games from their hotel, I'm looking at Yangon Galacticos, Rengnam Karya, Esports. Have they done enough? Because with the ways that Nongshim Red Force is currently playing, and if Alpha 7 does end up picking it up, they could end up just getting kicked out of that top 8, Neptura.
Actually, yeah, you make a really, really good point. Regnum in particular with 81. Yangon, of course, with 75 as well. I mean, even if Nongshim do go up and up and up, they are going to be able to surpass them 100%. I think even top 3 is not looking so safe compared to how these teams have been playing.
We saw Alpha 7 there having 69 points earlier. You can see Weibo Gaming right now with 58 points. You have TT Global 10 points behind that. So, I mean, you were saying it, Max, they're not safe. They're not safe at all, and we need to start seeing a little bit more out of Alpha 7. They have had, to be fair with them, they have had some good rotations.
They've had very good rotations right throughout this tournament, so they could jump up there. Alpha 7, they need to be careful because, again, they're in the hot seat. They could fall off. That would be one of the biggest upset here in the group stage.
Okay, well, I'm ready to see what's going to be happening here in this final area. But before that, let's send it over to Barney on the stage.
Welcome everybody to the Kadir Esports Arena right here live from Riyadh for the PUBG Mobile World Cup at EWC. I am Veracity, joined alongside the lovely Barney Banks. And Barney, I want to kick things off first and foremost for apologizing for my behavior yesterday. It was unacceptable, totally uncalled for, and this gorgeous stage is more than big enough for the two of us.
It is big enough for the two of us. You know what? We can let bygones be bygones. The stage is big enough. It's absolutely fine. I'll kick things off by talking about map number 1 because it was quite pivotal that two teams that were high up the leaderboard got eliminated early on, both Alter Ego and Team Falcons. But ultimately, at the very end, when the final circle pulled in, it was Nongshim Red Force going up against EDA Esports, and Nongshim Red Force took the victory and secured 23 points on the board, Veracity.
That's impressive, Barney, but I loved match 2. I'll tell you exactly why. Alter Ego Ares went from not a single elimination in match 1 to...
You know what, Veracity? I actually
15
don't
eliminations,
forgive
Barney.
you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take map number 2 and I'll see you later. Have some fun up there. Map number 2, after a dramatic shift south from the circle, it was teams descending onto each other, and ultimately Power Esports took the victory, even though Alter Ego Ares managed to secure 21 points on the board. Match number 3, we had a pretty slow start. Team Falcons secured a vital building. Arena took them out, and Nongshim Red Force faced off against Weibo Gaming. And again, for their second chicken dinner of the day, Nongshim Red Force managed to secure the victory. What a phenomenal day we've had so far. Only 3 games left, and we can't wait to see who makes it into the top 8. See you there.
This is not over, Barney Banks.
Someone get her down from there. Jasmine, do you need assistance?
It's like some kind of Bond villain.
It's just that, look, she's like, can someone please help? Oh, mate, what a cool stage, though, bro. It's always so exciting, but especially today, especially now. Last 3 games, group stage, the anticipation, the climax, the teams that have been putting so much into every outing in this lobby.
Red, green going at it today. Group yellow is currently out. Those are the teams that we will be chasing over the next 3 matches. We've had 3 bangers just coming off the back of with Reflections and John, and it'll be me and Jackie. Me being blank.
That's me, I'm Jackie, hello.
To take these final 3 games and see who will be grabbing that 80 grand that's up for grabs at the top spot. But not only that, the top 8 spots that will make it straight through to the finals, and which 16 teams will be joining us over in Survival.
You can see already, if you haven't been hearing the reverberations, the audio capacity, the set of lungs we've got on this audience when Falcons have been in the arena, well, you're probably going to be hearing some of that today. Hey, getting the little pre-game rituals in as well, Alter Ego. I don't think they need it. The way they have been performing as individuals and as one collective, the 5 fingers on one hand forming a fist for Indonesia and punching through the competition.
5 fingers?
Yeah, 5 fingers. Well, and a thumb.
It makes more sense with the 4 fingers as well. 4 players playing.
Yeah,
but
fair enough. You got me there. You got me there.
You had me.
Yeah.
You had me.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough, blank. 1-0 blank.
We have Erangel coming at you. We'll have 2 Miramars to finish things off, but this is our last Erangel of the group stage, and we'll be starting over in Severny down towards Old Sozinovka and military base. So the teams players for now. We are starting very far up on the map here. Alter Ego currently on top, not far away from overtaking 4 Thrives in that first place position. Alpha 7 also hoping to maintain over towards the top 8 here with 69 points, followed shortly by Nongshim Red Force with the 67.
This is a nice stat to look at as well, man. Obviously with Falak not being here, but Rosemary still having opportunity to build on those high caliber plays he's been making. Unbelievable damage, fantastic impact. But this is what I was saying, right? It's not just him. It feels like the team has been setting up each other perfectly, Blank. The comms are clean, the decision making is brilliant. If they keep going like this, it's going to be devastating.
There's been a lot of talk about Rosemary, honestly, and there's a lot around him, but I think that when we really boiled it down, that there was a huge amount of success which was pinpointed around Alva as a player. In terms of his scouting, dangerous missions that he's been on to set the rest of the team up nicely. He's been a very, very key pickup for that squad to allow Rosemary to succeed in the way that he has. You can see the leaderboard right now, pretty tight, honestly, pretty tight. With Weibo currently at 58, TT with 59, Ida at 62. So there is chance for teams to jump up. It's not just Nongshim Red Force fighting for this one. They're in a worrisome position. Ida could overlap them potentially. We already have an engagement starting off here over towards AX, losing a player in Rozok.
Not the dream scenario you want going into the later half of the day. A rough drop. Oh, mate. It's not what you want, Blank. Try and get that sorted out immediately, get the things going, the blood pumping. Saw this yesterday with some of the decision making. Let's have a look, though, where we're going to kick things off. In-game POV, we join the Alpha 7 boys on the move. And again, like you said, I think they've been coming out, playing with a bit more of that classical flavour. It looks like Alpha 7 on the stage again.
A bit more gusto, honestly. I really like that maneuver they made down towards Milta, you know, trying to play off the back of the road stop. Never that easy, honestly. They did eventually get wrapped on, but I think up until that point they held their own quite nicely there. So I think for Alpha 7, they do want to have a much more explosive entrance here, but to be honest, at this point, at this stage of the tournament, they'd be quite happy just to get into the top 8, to get that free ride over towards finals. This is Alter Ego, actually. Who else other than Rosemary? Got a bit annoyed at us for talking about Alva too much, wanting to remind us who's the king.
It is crazy as well, because it's one of those dynamics, right? We say it sometimes. We have like a 2-2 split of players that compete amongst each other within the same roster. Whereas for them, like you say, they're passing the baton willingly, setting each other up to make sure that relay race for knocks, for damage, for placements is always clean. But yeah, obviously, if he gets an opportunity, Blank's going to take those knocks all damn day.
He'll show off. He will show off. I think for another team like that right now, it's somewhat of a different story. Is Alpha Gaming, where it's a weird one. It does feel like a case sometimes where a player will just send out the rest of the team, you know, bless their hearts, they will just join in, send with. Even that first Sandhawk today, where we saw Alpha Gaming shoot down towards the south side to take out Team Falcons, despite having one of the strongest compounds inside that circle early. It was a weird one for me. At the moment, they're not doing too badly, you know, 50 points, but they are in 15th right now with that scoreline. So they want to bump that score up. It would be a bit of a jump, but it's not out of the realms of possibility for Alpha Gaming to get just a gigantic match. It's hard to count this team out too early here. With 3 matches to go, though, not a lot of time left, and that fuse is burning down.
It is, and the base that will be behind it detonating, of course, is that rapturous, screaming energy we have heard again and again for the Falcons fans that have been in the arena. And that's scary. We were saying on day one, sometimes when things aren't going right, you're hearing that echoing constantly. It's more and more pressure that's being layered on you.
Yeah.
I'm worried if it's going to turn them into a diamond in the last 3 games, or if you will crumble under that pressure.
32 points. The Falcons. It's not an ideal number to be on. 21st place as well. It would have to be a mega jump up. I think, if I'm being quite honest, a bit brutal, really.
Yeah.
I think Cole is the only player on that team at the moment I really see standing up. I mean, I've had a lot of admiration for Ralph, Nalvalo, Redox in the past years, but it's funny to me that their newest addition is the one who is showing the most gusto in these games. We'll wait and see for Falcons. There could be a miracle run, but for me at this point, very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. At this point, you kind of want the crowd to just be chill.
Let them build.
Yeah.
Then build, then follow. Yeah. No, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. It can be that double-edged sword, you know. It's kind of brutal. That's the way it's gone. But 2 sides to every coin, I guess.
Nongshim Red Force calling the right side of the coin each time it's flipped today, it seems. Some very good plays from them. get themselves into 8th here, which would secure them if we ended things right now. I think Nonchalant Red Force has had a nice run, capitalizing off some teams' maybe inadequacies, we could say. But at the same time, it has just been some good maneuvers. I would put it down to just a case of strong understanding of the map. Macro looked pretty decent. They didn't overegg the pudding a lot either, which is something you see from Alpha Gaming quite a few times. Maybe need some more classes when it comes to bakery, or at least getting some chicken dinners.
I think for IDA as well, it's interesting. Obviously, it felt like they were more of a periphery team in some of the early matchups we saw towards the group stage. You were finding your way through with placements, playing off the zone, but never really being at the forefront of things. With the grouping the way it is in terms of the spacing in points, though, there's still a chance, mate, and it's looking better today. I will say that. I think there is definitely a good air in there for them. You know, they've got that second wind.
I think for EDA in particular, right? The thing for them is that I've always classed them as an up-and-coming squad. They have some very young players on side. It's not easy always playing at a big tournament like this with all that pressure on. But they're a good team at heart. They're a very, very good team at heart. I think maybe it's early land jitters for them. This is only their second day of play. I think everything could change. I do think, though, for EDA, going to the survival stage is not going to be fun whatsoever. I don't think that's an easy place for them to be. I think they'd rather just make it straight through to the finals itself, get to watch all the play happen, and then just feel a lot more comfortable and researched going into that finals. So it does need to be a big push from EDA. Again, other teams are chasing. Got Thunder Talks as well as Weibo. And Nonchalant Red Force, if they don't let up, could become a little bit more difficult to grab onto the coattails of those teams in the top 8.
Let's go back to your point as well for a similar team that, you know, the question mark was, will they struggle being thrown into the deep end of a big stage like this, global event? For AX, I think, you know, day 1, day 2, honestly, they kind of just played their game. They showed up to really just give it their best. Over the course of the event, though, I'm curious to see if that's cooled off a little bit. This feels like an unlucky one for him. Obviously, 2 individual solo knocks there. Rosemary was able to claim 1. We just saw the second go down, so already losing a lot of that stock early.
I think it's tough as well when you have this group format where, you know, they're going to play day 1 and then they'll play day 3.
Yeah.
The issue for them is that I don't really think they found their stride in day 1, and then you're not playing. So you lose all momentum on that day 2. And I do think that there is something to be said where, you know, you come into day 1, you just own it, and you take your day off, and then you go into day 3, and you can just feel pretty happy in yourself. But there's a lot of maybe self-doubt, you know, rumination in the mind if you are AX on day 2. Is like, what can we do better? What can we do differently? I think 41 points is not a bad scoreline for a special invite team. I don't think they've completely lost the plot. So I think it's nice to see. I think AX can be proud of themselves, but survival stage will be a different beast. I am expecting to see AX in that survival stage on this current point scoring.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, though, maybe that'll work out better for them as well, because it's just far more experience, especially for that team in particular. It could be good for them. Looks like a knock over onto the Falcons, though. First wing has been clipped.
It's coming through on the western side, actually on the southwest, where Kinotrope were playing. You know, I think for Kinotrope as well, they do play around this area fairly frequently, and for Falcons, they have very similar rotations, because Kinotrope does enjoy playing at Pachinki, as do the Falcons. And historically, Falcons don't do all that hot when you start having teams playing around your initial rotational points. And we saw that early on Sandhawk with Sami and Alpha Gaming, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. Current circle over towards Shelter, though, Jackie. Bit of open ground, not really definitive on any of the compounds just yet. Teams will find places to hunker down. We're over towards the gondolas right now for Alpha 7. This is all the way up towards Stalba. So they've still got a ways to go. I think they're one of the only teams, if not the only team, currently still out in the blue.
Intense game here. They were coming down the backside of the hill, had a read at least onto Alter Ego. Obviously a bit of a split there. You've got Rosemary further out to the 2-2. It's Krypton that makes a bit of a move here. Rejoin with the rest of the squad, hop back in the vehicle, keep himself covered. See how they play this one.
Or you go on that western side, yeah. The split between them is pretty big, pretty substantial. See when they want to regroup things up, and you're right, Intense Game are chilling around the peripheries of that area on the western side. You got Rosemary and one other player, can't quite see the name there, having a look down towards that southern side. R8 taking a knock, that's over towards Mansion actually. You can see it on your screens, we bring up the map feed, which is available to you all at home, by the way. I'll head over towards PUBG Mobile Esports over at YouTube, pick that one up. Keep tabs of your favorite teams and their rotates.
Follow all the action in one nice little neat package. Get the information that we use here live on the cast as well. Teams on the move now. Squash from the wraparound. Everyone else heading down. It's Gamax that's just ahead. And of course what remains of AX as well, taking a wide berth to join up, but we'll hold that for back over. E-Arena on screens for now. You've got a crash down from the hillside with Kino Trope coming in. Mormon on the push back up. Ooh, big tag into the back. Quick response as they turn their heads and find that one. Tamar with the damage done. It's Big Papa Pump that's clipping legs from the side. Bullets coming in from the third party as well, trying to clean up and see what he can steal away from this. Had the smooth moves, but an instant shot back over. That's TT that are taking pot shots at it.
That was a messy engagement, massively messy engagement, and a perfect opportunity for Thundertalks as well, because this is around the center of the circle right now. Thundertalks is able to clip two teams out at the same time. I mean, E-Arena's looking a little bit worse for wear here. King's not fully committing over towards it. His Alpha Gaming once again looking to ruin the day of the Falcons. That is a brave nade sent by Doc, and Reefus is just forced to handle it.
Danger close, but the danger is Alpha Gaming, and it's their middle name right now. And just one man left, Narvalo. 4 nades in the backpack, casts out the first stone as he throws it over. Top from distance, trying to catch Reed from the side. If he does peek out to shut him down, nade could be on target, just short.
Close though, Hovercraft comes in, delivering players up close. Come on, this nade's going to go off right next to you. Doesn't do all too much damage to the Hovercraft just yet. Starts to smoke. Molotov sent through into the building. They don't have a read on his position just yet.
More paranoid about the compound. I think he's down to his last 2 nades now as well. Yeah, that's all the stock he's got left. Cooking this right down towards the end. Last one's going to be prime. Sideline chip damage over. They don't want to run into this and throw away one player. Ooh, but Top will get the shot on the peak. That's what they were setting up for.
Good watch from Top there. Holding in the background, has done that quite a few times there for Alpha Kane when he's forced to pick up the pieces when the front line heads on in. But for Alpha Game, very, very important match for them, right? They want to climb that leaderboard up to 53 points on this match. Powers finding Ida from R8, and here's Intense Game. Pretty long range on this one, long, broad, open spaces. Rosemary down as well. Alter Ego probably want to chill this one out.
Yeah, I think that was the team name from the backline. So the splash damage knocked him back down to his last legs. They have the smoke to at least reset, block vision, see if they can try and cauterize this one a little bit. Obviously, Intense Game, we're looking to really backdoor into this quite some time ago. Gamax as well. They get thrown into the fight versus Alpha 7. We were setting up previously. Silence fires shots back over. Ooh, this is starting to look messy in the lobby, Blank.
Yeah, not easy. With the circle, actually, hard shift down towards the southwest side, towards Farm as well, which is an uncomfortable area to play on the map. Alpha Game find themselves a prime position to play this one from after removing Falcons. But for Alter Ego, they got Nongshan Red Force looking to rotate in from their northern side. If you can get rid of Intense Game, there's still going to be Weibo to deal with shortly afterwards. So we'll see how Alter Ego actually figures this one out. They're going to make a rotate off towards that eastern side, which is wild, by the way. They're going to go straight through Weibo. We'll see how this pans out. Intense Game takes that moment to regroup back down with Adrian on the south side of the map, and Alter Ego gets past.
And while you've got Squash's POV here as well inside of the compound, the only one that remains from Alpha 7. He was on a slight deviation from the rest of the squad as a solo. Casting nades back over right now onto the trio of R8. Alter Ego are still getting punished here. More players popping up in the Elim feed as the knocks are coming back through, and they are absolutely sandwiched with squads.
A lot of teams are struggling to make their way into this one. Fair few of our squads on the eastern side, and we're on board with one of them in R8. They try and rotate down the remainders of AX. Move to the fields, just on the north side, pick up a compound to play inside of. This area of the map can hold quite a few teams, but I would say that Alpha Game currently have